Series is an initiative of Public Interest Law Association of Pakistan. And in this series, we put a spotlight on issues related to public interest, like rights of human rights, animal rights, rights of children, right of persons with disabilities. And what we do is that we engage with experts, with people who are championing these causes in our society. We bring them on board and have conversations with them, and they help us enlighten ourselves about these issues, what is their current state in Pakistan. So today we have another amazing session on animal welfare and animal rights, and we have a really amazing speaker with us as well. So before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to, for anyone who is joining for the first time and is not familiar with the work of PILAP, Saad Saab, I would like to ask you if you can give a little bit of an overview of PILAP as an organization, the work we have been doing, and how can people support us or join us, support PILAP's work. So please.
Thank you. Thank you, Waqar. I'll just take a minute because I think everybody's here to listen to Ayesha. But Public Interest Law Association is an initiative by like-minded citizens of Pakistan who are trying to basically drive this mission of promoting and protecting the fundamental rights of the citizen of Pakistan. Now, animals are part of citizenship as well. I mean, frankly, so we're very happy that we are expanding it beyond just humans as well. But PILAP has been around for about 11 years. We've had an amazing journey up till now. We've been touching lives in different ways. We are focused on the fundamental rights as enshrined in the Constitution of Pakistan. Even those are, for example, education is not given any, whereas it's 25A clearly says, we have to provide free education for kids below 16, things like that, and many others. Unfortunately, we all know what the situation of Pakistan is. The only message I want to leave behind is, please become member of PILAP, because our basic sustainability is through membership. And we should together strengthen this institution, that it becomes an institution and it remains on its own and questions the government and its institutions and its agencies on various topics. So there's some check and balances, and that's why we have created this institution. We have got, mashallah, good membership. I will not go into the type of membership. There's a free membership for students. There's a basic membership for 20,000. There's another one for 100,000. So there are all these. But the question is to be part of it, and just register your name. So we'll send you our quarterly letters, and we'll be part of you. And we have this series. You can attend all our Zoom meetings. We've had meetings on child labor. We've had engagement meetings on the Malid Expressway, things like that. So things which affect you, come to us. Suggest something we should do together, and we'll be more than happy to do. That's it. Back to you, Waqar.
Thank you, Sasab, and thank you for mentioning that we record these conversations which we have, and if you are interested in listening to any of them, you could go to our website, and they're available for posterity and further sharing. So yeah, so now on to our topic of conversation for today: animal rights and animal welfare. So we have with us Ayesha Chundrigar. Ayesha is a founder of ACF, which is Ayesha Chundrigar Foundation. ACF is involved in animal rescue, and it has rescued over 8,000 animals and provided them basic facilities like medical facilities, hospital, ambulance, and shelter. So it's an organized initiative in Pakistan. And Ayesha wears many hats, of course, and she is also a journalist and a producer of documentaries. She has produced documentaries on several humanitarian issues, including child sexual abuse, drug addiction, and women in jails. And Ayesha is also trained as a therapist, and she has worked pro bono with acid burn survivors, children and people with special needs, children in drug rehabilitation facilities, and orphans. So thank you very much, Ayesha, for taking out your time and joining us. We are very pleased to have you. Although I've tried to summarize your extensive profile of work in a brief introduction, but please go ahead and introduce yourself as well, and tell us about yourself and how you found yourself in this area of work, animal rescue and animal welfare, and a little bit about the organization ACF as well. So over to you, Ayesha. Aisha's screen is frozen.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
think
hear
she's
me,
back.
Aisha?
Yeah. It's
Sounds like
fine.
you can hear me.
I think I'll give her a call. That's all I can do. I think she dropped and coming back. She realized that as well.
Could be.
Yes, Aisha is back.
Thank you,
Aisha,
that was
up to you.
Aisha, can you
okay.
hear?
First, can you guys hear and see me? Sorry,
Yes,
my internet was a little. Yeah. Okay.
clear.
First, I'm going to say something. It's not 8,000 animals. It's 30,000 animals.
Nasha.
Great.
So,
I have
so
old information.
And we have, at any given time, we have about 1,000 animals at our sanctuary now, and we have all sorts of animals. So I'm going to take you through the presentation that I shared, and then I'll answer a few more questions once you guys get an idea as to what we do. But I will share this much, that our mission, our vision of this entire organization was to give a voice to the most neglected living beings in society. It actually wasn't animals. It didn't start with just animals. It doesn't say only animals in our memorandum. It's all about giving anyone who doesn't have a voice or a platform to speak the chance to be heard. And I'm going to share through our presentation how we have created this holistic approach where we can. Sorry, Bakar, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you make our screen sharing possible?
Yes, just a moment.
So yes, in the meantime, while we're doing that, I'll share with you guys. So we have, so they're all injured and abused animals. These are all injuries done at the hands of people mostly. Obviously, like we are humans are the only ones who injure. Animals don't actually injure each other. Animals don't kill each other for sport. They don't hurt each other for sport. They hurt each other for food if they have to. But the only species on the planet who hurts for fun is humans. So that says a lot about our nature and the cruelty of it and how difficult it is to turn that cruelty into something good, which is what I guess ACF tries to highlight a lot. So yeah, so we have monkeys, dogs, cats, goats and sheep and donkeys and what else am I missing? Birds. And yeah, so overall, every time we, have a new kind of species, sort of with the option of people wanting to. Sorry, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So every time people essentially, want an animal rescue, we just try to do the best we can to rescue, any sort and try to create whatever accommodation we can for the animal that is coming our way. So I'm going to give you a little idea because the way I work, which I think is a very impactful way to work, which I did not know I can tell you now after 10 years of doing this, is I don't call myself an activist. I feel like the moment you go to any authoritarian figure and like any authority and you say, I'm an activist, they immediately go on the back foot. It's just a subconscious thing. Where if you are going to brand yourself or categorize yourself as something that may have a negative connotation attached to it, you have immediately shut down any form of connection with the other person. Whereas if I call myself a rescuer, it has a much more of a softer feel to it. Again, I'm a therapist, so I'm telling you from a psychotherapeutic point of view and how it's kind of worked for me in these last few years and how I've sort of understood all of this because it's all trial and error. So whatever I'm telling you, it's because I've tried, I have failed, and then I've learned and I've tried to figure it out accordingly. So yeah, so every time people say I'm an activist, I'm like, no, don't call me an activist because I know if I go to any of these authorities who poison dogs, I want to change something, you say activist, and I can just see it at the eyes. It's like, no, I know there's going to be no connection. So it's better to give yourself a softer word when you're trying to connect with someone, which is why empathy comes in. Because empathy is not something that you need with people who you agree with. Empathy is something you need for people who you don't agree with. So you have to understand how they are thinking and come from a place, meet them at a level where they are, as opposed to coming from a place where you are. So that's a little bit like a one-on-one thing that I thought I should share, that I think is very vital in every aspect of business or in life, in every kind of a relationship. So, all right. Just a little bit about, a lot of people think ACF was, I guess it's a success, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But everyone thinks that ACF just became a success overnight, that it was essentially me playing with puppies. And, that's how we did this. It was the complete opposite of that, actually. It's been 10 years of absolute madness. I had to study and learn everything from accounts, and I'm so bad at math, I can't tell you, to understand. I didn't know how to write a cross check. I didn't know what an audit was. I'm a philosophy and a literature major. So I was like the biggest dreamer. I had no clue about, the real world, economics, any of this stuff. I came from a place where, yes, I was a journalist. I used to work in England. And then I switched and I became a therapist. So all of my degrees have been very humanitarian centric, but they're also coming from a place of being a complete dreamer, as opposed to understanding, how the real world essentially functions and how everything is connected through economics and law and accounts, all of this. So I learned all of this non-stop. 10 years of my life, I spend my weekends studying. Any chance I get, like my ride to the shelter is very long. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. If there's a strike or a protest, I'm in the car for like 2 hours sometimes. So I listen to a podcast, I listen to something, because I don't waste time. It's always good to keep learning. And that has really worked with this year. So just a quick idea. This is what our mobile clinic looks like. So we have two of these. We have one of them which has all these stickers on it, and the other one I'm hopefully going to get to do this. So we have two rescue vans that go out every day in Karachi to do rescues. And we have a whole rescue team. When I started, it was just me going on rescue with myself, which really wasn't safe, because I used to go in a rented car, and I used to go, and our shelter was all the way near Toll Plaza, which is pretty far. And I used to finish up at 5 jobs to support my organizations. I worked as an English language teacher. I worked as a documentary maker. I worked as an RJ at FM 89. I wrote articles. And I was doing my therapy degree, and I started ACF, and I registered ACF at the same time, because I kind of had this weird epiphany that, okay, I was in England, I was getting a great job as a journalist and all, and I was like, look, I have a choice. Either I do this, but then I come back and I try doing something insane. And I thought, okay, I'm going to come back and try doing something insane, because we keep waiting for people to rescue us or to make things better. But it's a very harsh reality to realize, at the end of the day, if you actually want to change something, you've got to get up and do it yourself. Because no one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to save anyone. No one is coming to bring your vision to life. The only one who can bring it to life is you. For example, the stickers on this rescue van. If you look, these are all people who look just like us in Pakistan. Again, this has a therapeutic element to it, because I'm trying to give people a subliminal message, because a lot of people think animal welfare is a Gora concept. It's foreign, right? You can only have animal welfare if, in like a foreign society, in a Gora society, because there's so many people suffering over here. So why do you bother helping animals? I mean, the amount of times I've heard this. So I want to, I'm very realistic with people. I say, look, you don't have to love animals. You don't even have to like animals. Just don't hurt animals. Surely that can't be so difficult. So, but surprisingly, it is. So, which what I was talking about, the cruelty of human nature. But when you come to these stickers, you'll notice all of these people, they are wearing Pakistani clothes like a dupatta and a kameez, and I'm trying to show our own brown people being represented in their love for animals. Because why is it a Gora concept? Who made it that? What, do we not have the capacity in our own hearts to be able to be kind, even if there's other suffering in the world? Do we not have that much capacity to just not hurt an animal? So because we discount something in anything in life, if you discount it as being a foreign concept or a Western concept, you are limiting yourself a lot. And I believe that is what we have been doing in not having animal welfare in our country for decades. It's literally been around for 10 years. And prior to that, I think our world was very limited, and it still is, because it's still not as big as it should be. But from a philosophical, larger ideological point of view, It is very limiting when you can't embrace everything and you limit ourselves. Oh, no, there are poor people here, so you can't help any animals. That is a very odd contradiction that we have in society, which is a very difficult one to break, but that is what I've been trying to work on. So I'm going to give you an idea as to how I've slowly been able to build up this following, because ACF was not big. All the hard work that I did for the first maybe 5-6 years, no one really knew. I just kept trudging along, going along, going along. We just kept going through all the hardships. I think ACF became maybe popular maybe like 4 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. So now it looks like it's a little easy, but it's not. It's still not. It's really hard. But this is how we build awareness to even get to this point. So for example, I'm not going to show you anything graphic, so don't worry about it. But we did get a video, which you're not going to see, but where the dogs, their mouths have been muzzled, they've been tied up, their legs have all been tied like this, and so this was going viral on social media, and obviously everyone tags ACF in these sort of things. But rather than immediately responding, that's another thing I don't do, where I just suddenly respond with like, in an emotional way, where I just condemn this and condemn that. Condemning that doesn't make a difference. You have to get up and do something. So I saw this viral video. I never just start talking. I first investigate to see A, if I can do something, B, what can I do, and C, how do I go about it. So first I do all of my work to understand, okay, I know where this is happening. These dogs have been muzzled and they've been tortured over here. How do I get there? Connect with the right people, the commissioner, the this, the that. So, and this is where you guys will come in hopefully in the future, where we can create a network where we can get to this quicker, because right now it's just me essentially doing this. So when we connect with the right people, we can actually make this.
So we are still searching for those dogs.
So I'm giving a little idea.
Let's hope that we find them. एक चीज है कि आप काफी ज्यादा डॉग्स भी हैं एंड यहाँ पे कचरा वचरा जला हुआ है, it's just kind of unbearable right now, but और हम थोड़ा सा ना हमें थोड़ा सा ढूंढना पड़ा है, तो again like I said कि यहाँ पर एक तो जगह बहुत बड़ी और बहुत सारे यहाँ पे डॉग्स वैसे भी घूम रहे हैं, तो we are just still looking around.
आते हैं ना मैप हमने वाली साइड पे हम आए हुए हैं और यहाँ पे कल अकॉर्डिंग टू दीस पीपल के यहीं पे डंप किए गए थे पपीज और सारे डॉग्स भी आपकी वापस चले गए हैं। ये पपीज हमने वीडियो से ट्रैक किए हैं, काफी मिलते जुलते हैं और यहीं पे ड्रॉप किए हैं।
तो ये कल जो ये टाइप करके लेकर आए थे यहाँ पे, तो उन्होंने बताया कि कुछ डॉग्स तो वापस भी आ गए, बट ये एक फीमेल डॉग है जो कि यहाँ पे पीछे रह गई है। एंड आई गेस द बिगेस्ट रीजन इज दिस कि पपीज यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं। सो ये एरिया के लोग हैं और इनको हमने बता दिया कि हम पपीज को जो है वो अपने साथ लेके जा रहे हैं। ये हमारे पास सारे पपीज हैं अभी इस वक्त। इनको पपीज को हम अपने साथ लेकर जाएंगे एंड इनको हमने जो इनका नंबर वगैरह अपना दे दिया है। सो ये पास के थोड़ा सा ख्याल रखें मदर का, जैसे नजर आए तो वो हमें फौरन कॉल कर ले और हम लोग आके मदर को भी ले जाएंगे अपने साथ जो है।
Yep. And they're doing really well. But that monkey ran away and we were trying to catch, and then the monkey forgot it. Yes. So we have to go back to try to get the monkeys. Okay, my shoes let go of my feet. From the question.
All right, so just to give you an idea, this is just one of the, I don't know how thousands of rescues that we do. Animal rescue is not easy. It's really hard because number one, the animal doesn't know you're coming to rescue it. Like a person will wait patiently for an ambulance to show up. An animal will not wait for a rescue van to show up. They will try to go hide in a corner. You will not be able to find them. And you need someone to help.
जी
Oops, sorry. Okay. All right.
जी बिल्कुल।
So,
हेलो प्लीज म्यूट कर दें बाकी लोग प्लीज।
okay.
I muted them, so unmute kar diya hai. So yeah, please Ayesha, go ahead.
All right. So if you guys saw, I just want to go back to this visual. You're seeing the visual is pretty powerful. I have two young girls who I couldn't have done this work without, and my rescue team. And if you notice, all of them are in colorful shirts. The color yellow is on purpose. Why I'm using these bright colors and why I have such a bright fan, because are you seeing how bleak and dark this place? Like it literally looks like it's a horror film, right? This was a full kachra kundi on top of pani. So if our team fell, they would fall in water. We don't know how deep. So this is the level of craziness that we endure. And this is our daily basis kind of rescues that we get. So, but the cool thing is people actually call us for rescues, which is awesome. And that people actually want this to happen. And now they know that the platform, and not only do we go and we make the effort to rescue, we'll educate the people or we'll give them our number, we'll come up with solutions. And then we show the animals back at our shelter as well to show the follow-up as to what happens, which is what creates a lot of transparency. The second video, again, is very graphic. So we're not going to show you the video itself. I'm going to show you what happened after. But there was this one man in an area very close to our shelter, and he hung a dog where the entire thing was filmed for 3 minutes and 40 seconds or something or the other, the entire hanging from where he tied up the dog and he pulled the dog up, and then he was given passy and the dog died, and there were boys filming him and laughing and encouraging him more to do it, and then he was dancing with the dead body of the dog. This video is up on our Instagram if you the full thing. This is the average person in Pakistan. Sadly, this is it. So when we wonder why such bad things happen over here to women, to children, do we not see what we do in broad daylight? This was done in broad daylight, was filmed in broad daylight with people walking around like this is normal. If we have normalized giving passy to a dog in a public marketplace and people are laughing about it, what makes you think that's going to stop anyone from doing anything bad to a child or a woman? We literally have no respect for life. And if you don't start from the very root of it, where you can actually give someone some sort of punishment for it, there's going to be no fear of God in them to stop doing anything else. So we had put up the video. Once I found out where this was, we had this was actually an FIR. For the first time, the police did file an FIR against someone. And this is where we need, again, lawyers to come in to help us, because a lot of people want to file stuff and ACF cannot be the one who's constantly in front. And we didn't even do this. This was the police doing this themselves. And I would never let ACF be involved in this. I would like other people to do it, where they can get in touch with lawyers themselves to be guided as to how they can take people to task over here. So this man, sorry, oops, I don't know, just give me a second. This is him as the police van.
कुत्तों को क्यों मारा है? नहीं मारा क्यों है? मैं जो सवाल कर रहा हूँ उसका जवाब दो मुझे। काट रहे थे। नहीं काट रहे थे, किसको काट रहे थे?
अभी हम लियाकत मार्केट के अंदर सर्वे के लिए आए हुए हैं and we are going to go and check out the location जहाँ पे ये मनहूस किस्म का वाकया हुआ था और we do have some police with us to in case अगर कोई situation बुरी हो जाती है exactly तो हम उसको हटा सकते थे ना इस तरह बीच चौराहे में आपके ख्याल में
वो फुटने तो खैर वो गलत
14 साल के बच्चे के साथ
अपना कांटेक्ट नंबर
इसमें लगा हुआ है कांटेक्ट नंबर जी बिल्कुल एनजीओ का है मेरा नहीं है आप 14 साल के बच्चे के सामने वहां पर कुत्ते को टांग के मारेंगे तो वो अच्छा लगेगा या अच्छा क्या लगेगा।
So over here, I made this really short. If you want to see the full thing is on our Instagram, where the video is up as well of the dog who was hanged. Then the police actually arrested the guy and they were angry themselves. There was an FIR filed on him, but he was out of jail very soon. I think the market people helped him come out, or I don't know the details of it, but there was no way of sort of managing to keep him there. He was laughing, the man who did the hanging, because there was no remorse. And he is back in the marketplace because when my team with Jihan all did go back, they saw him walking around and he was giving them these very looks like of satisfaction that you can't catch me or do anything because we don't have any animal rights laws per se. So us going and trying to educate people and giving them, our like we have flyers with literally just visuals without any writing because we know lots of people can't read and visuals are more impactful. So we have, don't do this, dogs don't bite. If you kick a dog, what do you expect a dog to do? The dog is going to eventually at some point fight back, but even we have a problem with that. Anyway, so, and if you notice, Vajiha, my manager, when she was in this market, the guy was too busy asking for her personal number as opposed to listening to what we were trying to say. So just also being a woman and doing this work over here and trying to change mindsets is not easy because you have this entire group of people who gather around you. And when it's a woman, they are on some levels, they listen, yes, because it's something different. But B, we don't have enough guys to support us or like come out immediately when we need them to be able to speak sense to people. And that's why, again, it would be amazing if you guys would come in, like when we need in that moment, because we can't delete these things. So within the moment to come out, I think it'll be really impactful because people shouldn't think this is a woman thing. This is an everyone thing. This is like common decency sort of thing. All right, let's go on a little bit about our sanctuary. So we see a lot of darkness outside, which is why we made it a point that our sanctuary is just the happiest place possible. So it's not like the zoo, which is the most miserable place on earth. It is not like it's like you normally think of a shelter, you think it's a super depressing place with injured animals. No, ours is like super colorful. Again, I play with colors on purpose because subconsciously it makes a big difference to people. So it's just really happy. All the animals are full of life. And yeah, so this is a little bit of our statistics at the moment. So these are the number of animals we have. This is actually a little old at the moment. We have about 1,000+ animals. But I mean, we have so many. It is, and I'm just going to say how happy I'm. But I have about 750 dogs. I have, I don't know how, maybe like 250 cats. I have a ton. So if you go on our Instagram, our Facebook page, you'll see everything. Then something really awesome is just how passionate your team is and how courageous they are. And you know what level my team will go to actually do a rescue. And I feel like I'm very lucky. I pick and choose my team very carefully. But the team that we built in the last 10 years has just been like nothing can happen if you don't have a good team. Do you know what I mean? Like one person can't do any of this. And my team is amazing. So they are the ones, including my dad, they orchestrated this entire rescue during the Eid holidays because obviously we don't actually have a proper fire station or fire trucks that don't have anything to help us. So there was a dog and 2 cats stuck in a well.
नीचे आप देखे जूम ये
So
देखिए
deep.
कुत्ता अभी सो रहा था, हमने आवाज दी
This was
ये
sent
आ रहा
to
है
us
फूड से हम
by-
बुलाएं
and
ओके चूहे के चिंग पोल को
this
लेके
is our
हम
guy.
आगे आ रहे हैं और ये
We
जगह
made our
बहुत
own
ज्यादा
harness.
सी
And we did this entire thing ourselves. No help from anyone else.
वो है और ये कॉफी है और इसके अलावा
So again, I was just giving you an idea as to when you do these kind of awesome rescues and when if you go on our page and you see it, it's honestly like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Like Raju was awesome. I cannot tell you how brave he was. And my rescue guys made the harness themselves with my dad. And I was fighting with my dad saying, do not do this. It's a bad idea. Then he was like, look, it's not me. The guys are adamant on doing it. So I told my rescue team, like, look, it's not a good idea. Let's figure this out. They were like, nahi, madam, hum kar sakte hain. We know how to just leave it to us. That at some point, like, I don't really have a say in anything. So I was like, okay, if you guys want to try. So they were adamant because we've done even crazier rescues than this. And they've been doing it for like, I think 7 years now. So we've become such pros that we find all sorts of creative ways of making our own, ways of like necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. So we find all kinds of ways of going in. And when we put this up on social media, people got so inspired by it Because honestly, passion is contagious. It really makes a difference when, you know, and when you show it through actions rather than words, there's nothing like it. Now let's come to what the local media wants you to believe versus the truth. So this is essentially how the dogs are portrayed on the media. I'm sure you guys have seen lots of, you know, news clippings and news little pieces where they're always like, "Oh, कुत्तों ने काटा, कुत्तों ने ये किया, stray dogs इतने बुरे होते हैं, सब stray dogs के rabies होते हैं." I have met 30,000 stray dogs. I have never met a dog with rabies. And I would like to ask all of you later on, what is rabies? If everyone even knows what is rabies, or is this like a myth that we just put on dogs, but no one actually knows what it is? Did you know if a dog, first of all, rabies is not a dog disease. Rabies is a bat disease. Bats have rabies. Rabies and bats in rural areas normally get rabies, and they are carriers of rabies. And if they bite, say, a cat or a goat or a sheep or a dog or any animal, then that animal will become rabid. When the animal becomes rabid, any animal, not just a dog, their eyes will become red, they'll foam at the mouth, they will not be able to go out in the sun. So you'll never see them out in the daytime. They will not be able to drink water. Yes, they will try to bite everything in sight. They'll even try to hit their own head, and they will die within 10 days of getting the disease. So when people say every stray dog has rabies, where are the signs? The moment you ask someone, what is rabies? Can you tell me what rabies is actually? And no one can actually answer that because there is no stray dogs I've met have rabies. So maybe there was one bichara, two bichara, three bichara dogs who may have come in at some point in actual main society. And people must have, got bitten. It's horrible. I mean, rabies is a terrible disease. No one should get it. So they must have got bitten, and dogs may have had it, but I'm 100% sure goats and cats, they all must have, but they just stuck to dogs because we have some hatred towards dogs as well. And suddenly all stray dogs have rabies, and they have killed hundreds of thousands of stray dogs based on nothing. This is a lie. There's no rabies in urban areas at all. Like, it is just not so. And then rather than killing all the dogs, why not just humanely vaccinate them against rabies? So then even if a bat does bite them eventually, if it ever does, they're never going to get it. It's as easy as that, but no. We choose to go the other way. So now, when I started talking about this, maybe about 5 years ago, I got so much backlash. People thought I hate humans, which doesn't make sense because I'm a human. So like, I don't really understand the logic, but they were like, what, you're okay with people dying of rabies? And I was like, hang on. Killing one living being does not solve another living being's life. That is not how this works. There's always a way to, why are they humanely neutering and vaccinating dogs all over the world, even like in places like India and Bangladesh, everywhere they've done it, but they can't do it in Pakistan. So I started vaccinating and neutering dogs on my own with our team. We taught them how to go about it. Like, our team got training from vets all over the world who I got to know to help us. And honestly, we learned everything online. And then to change mindset, first, all right, this video, if you're seeing on this side, I'm not going to show you the video, but this is a dog who was alive, and he was dragged like this with on a motorbike for I don't know how long. And one of my rescue coordinators, she saw him and she was driving to work. And so she followed him. She stopped him. My girls are very reckless. I really down to 5 after that. But she really gave it to him. This is giving it to him. This is what the media actually doesn't show or does show, and that's what actually happens. Now, when you see those dead animals lying on the road and children are walking past it, I'd like for you to answer later on, how do you think a kid is going to react to that? And now I'll tell you first how I react to it. Rather than yelling and screaming, I prove to them that that's not the case. So we were told there's a very aggressive dog in phase 4 Karachi. All right. And we were told, you need to come and pick it up now. It's about to bite everyone. It has rabies. We don't know what to do. Oh my God. So my team rushed there to understand what the commotion was. And now I'm going to show you what the dog was actually like.
सो इस एरिया में इस डॉग को लेके ये शिकायत की गई है कि ये बहुत खतरनाक डॉग है और ये बहुत लोगों को काट रहा है एंड दिस इज व्हाट्स हैपनिंग व्हेन वजिया केम इन ये देखिए सो द टीम इज हियर received a call from Wakra and this lady
So everyone in that scene was set with like our nets and everything to catch this super aggressive dog. But the dog was a little puppy who was not doing anything to anyone. And that is the truth about the way dogs are. This is Okra, the restaurant. One of the chefs at Okra takes care of all the puppies and all the dogs over there. But she called us to neuter and vaccinate them as well.
she's been taking care of these puppies, as you can see. This is it. Oh my goodness. She asked us to come here and then vaccinate all these puppies. This is the kind of Pakistan that we want to see. With a lot of empathy. And people are loving and taking care of their stray dogs.
So this is when we go out to neuter and vaccinate dogs. So in any of these scenes, are you seeing a single aggressive dog who's ready to bite you? Because I am seeing the opposite. And this is how we use our social media to disprove what they show on the regular media. Now this is, again,
Sorry, Ayesha, not to disrupt you. I just wanted to flag that we have 15 more minutes remaining. So
I'm
yeah.
going to go through it really fast. I'm going to show you a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm going to leave a couple of things for you to see by yourself. But I'm going to show you, this is one of our colleagues, in fact, Khamar, who's sitting over here. She was talking to one of these uncles who was insisting for us to get an injection this big, as opposed to an injection this big, to kill it, to poison a dog, because maybe it'll just work quicker. And here is her.
Why don't you bring strong poison? Just inject it and it will go.
So लेकिन यही चीज तो पिछले 40 साल से हो रही है ना, कोई solution तो नहीं निकला ना उससे।
आप उन लोगों को बताएं कि मैं तो इसको कर रहा हूँ।
मैं बात बोल रही हूँ कि अच्छा क्यों नहीं लगता डर? अच्छा अब मुझे एक बात बताओ, तुम लोग में से सुपर हीरो किसका सबसे फेवरेट है? लाइक सुपरमैन किसको पसंद है? अच्छा बैटमैन किसको पसंद है? बैटमैन नहीं पसंद, सबको सुपरमैन पसंद है। अच्छा अब मुझे एक बात बताओ, तुम्हें लगता है सुपरमैन किसी करना चाहते हैं लेकिन वो डरते हैं आप लोगों से, ठीक है ना?
So this is how we go and we educate the kids. Sometimes we don't bother with the adults, we just go straight to the kids. I'm going to go by this very, very quickly, but we, after maybe 6 years of being laughed out of corporate offices, corporates actually came on board, because we just run on like individual donors. We run on maybe 1,000 individual donors a month. But then corporates came on board to actually cover our vaccinating and neutering programs, which is really cool. So they actually join us on our activities as well.
These are all AGP volunteers. They're here with us today to educate the public. And Ayesha is just explaining them the process. It's an orientation going on.
AGP Limited and their volunteers are educating people while the ACF team is vaccinating and neutering the dogs. They are sharing the flyers on TNVR. They're sharing flyers on dog behavior, and they're एक dog को अभी vaccinate किया है, and we are educating people as well as to what we are doing. AGP के लोग हैं यहाँ पे जो. So this is, I'm going to run through this. This is the first donkey camp I ever did. So I stood on the road in the middle of Karangi and I asked people to bring their donkeys to me so I could give them free treatment. And donkey owners thought I was mad, because they're like, who is this mad woman who is standing there and asking us to bring her donkeys? And the first thing I was told by donkey owners is that, nahi baji, aap to my donkey ko poison karegi. And I was like, मैं poison क्यों करूँगी? Like, what a, they were like, नहीं कोई ऐसे मदद नहीं करता. And I was like, oh God, we are so jaded in Pakistan, and I don't blame them, because there's no union for donkey owners. They are the largest pool of daily wagers in Pakistan. They are the poorest of them. and nobody takes care of them. There's no way. Donkeys are the biggest source of transport in the country. And do you know there's not a single active clinic or hospital for donkeys in the entire country? We are the only ones who take care of them. And then such stories happen. Again, I'm going to try to run through really quickly. This is a donkey who had acid poured down his throat, maybe 4 bottles of acid. Again, his stories are up on our social media, but you will see the way we try to, the kind of abuse on donkeys is something along these lines. We got the donkey. We got the donkey. I'll show you on social media. Sorry, we're running short of time. It's the kind of space we get. The donkey literally standing in Pani like this. You can see this is the donkey. This is how people leave their donkeys when they can't take care of them. Can you see how much pain he is from his mouth to his bleeding mouth to his eyes closed in pain? We meet
I think we have lost Ayesha. Can anybody hear Ayesha?
No, I think she's hang ho gaya unka. Yeah, I think she's coming back.
Yeah, let's give it a minute.
I think Waqar, उससे पूछें कि what are your 2-3 top challenges? You know, let's try to summarize the way forward if we can.
Yeah,
And tell him that the videos you can put on our website or something, or your website, we'll be more than happy to go.
Yeah. Hello, Ayesha, are you there?
Yeah, she's at the bottom with a cat. Maybe call
Let
her.
me try. Yeah, maybe.
Try calling her on a mobile. Maybe she's facing issues with the internet.
I'm back. Okay, I'm just coming. All right.
All right. So, Ayesha, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Ayesha, so this
Yes.
I just like
I'm just going to zoom by really fast.
Yeah, no, this is great, but we just wanted to see, like, we want to also understand what are the challenges which you are facing, which possibly can be like resolved through legal means and like the legal pathway. What is the role of the institutions in there? So, वो perspective भी अगर हमें मिल जाए, बाकी we'll share the presentation if all these videos are on your Insta. We'll share the link with
The
everyone
reason
to
I wanted
follow.
to share the presentation because I can't tell you how you can legally help unless I tell you what the issues are to begin with. Because you
Sure.
can't work on symptoms until you know what the disease is, right? So
Okay, let's quickly go through them. Please. Go ahead.
just because you guys are already as lawyers, you're probably understanding what I'm saying through this, and I'm sure you can pick up on a lot of things yourself where help might be needed. So unless I don't give you a full overview of the situation, I cannot tell you where you guys could help without you actually fully understanding the situation. Because I'm sure you'll pick up on stuff yourself, because I'm not a lawyer. I have no legal background. So I can just share stories, and then you guys can tell me as well where you could help.
We are not lawyers as well. I'm not a lawyer as well, but we can do advocacy and drive policy.
Absolutely,
You don't
yeah.
need lawyers for that. You need people with a heart and compassion, and we go to the government and say,
100%.
put this policy into place. Anyway, go ahead. Let's listen to
100%. So again, so even for that, I think I need to just complete this semester.
So because of his disability, he has a lot of difficulty climbing on the donkey cart, or in donkey बहुत अच्छी condition में है. So we are hoping that we can maybe customize a cart for him.
So there are lots of people who actually have, and they are donkey owners, and they're right, so you can climb on it really quickly. So again, donkey owners from making maybe 100 rupees a day.
ये अमर भाई हैं जिनको गाड़ी दी है, ये गधा चला रहे हैं, ये गाड़ी लेकर जा रहे हैं. इनको
I'm gonna go on. Let me just run through all of this. All right, so let's come to the toxic norms. Basically, this is I want you guys to go look at this on your own, but this is the difference between how you call it a stray dog a bitch and you call a woman a bitch. And you can try to show everyone the connection between them.
अब आवाज आई तो मार दूंगा इस कुत्ती को।
पागल
कुत्तियां लेके जाए इसको।
बज़ाहिर लगता है ये दोनों गुस्सा कर रही हैं, लेकिन असल में वो सिर्फ हिफाजत कर रही है।
All right, we reach all kinds of people.
क्योंकि मेरा फर्ज है, अगर एक जानवर बेज़बान है, हमने कुछ किया तो वो कितना उसको कितना तकलीफ होती है, ये हमारा को पता नहीं है।
These are children who have undergone severe sexual abuse and drug addiction. And they visit us, and we teach them a lot about healing. People from Darul Sukoon, people from Deaf Free School, everyone visits us and we visit them. And people learn a lot about healing through animals. They're a beautiful medium to connect with people. And that's what we do. So I'll just take you through. We had a picnic. We had 2 events, which were huge events where we had petting zoos and these really cool immersive experiences so people could feel like what it's like to be in the skin of an animal. We have a superhero program. There's a storybook written on our work, which is pretty awesome. We are trying to change what a stray is.
Stray.
We try to give a very cool definition. So we do all these different things to try to change mindset. These shirts are available on our website, by the way, if anyone would like to buy it. But yeah, so we try doing different programs. This is a short film that we made, which is on our social media. I'd love for you guys to watch it for 10 minutes when you guys have a moment. This is how we essentially started, from a Facebook page where I would just start sharing stories of animals and their before and after photos, like before when they were injured and once they healed. This is how ACF essentially picked up over the years. And this is a little bit of our impact and our future targets that we have. And you guys can have a look at this later if you'd like to share this with everyone. And then the most important thing is that the Supreme Court has recognized ACF, where we actually are going to be, they had, we put in an intervener application, and into this petition, I can share all of this with you guys, but basically to make a draft of animal rights laws in the world that could then eventually lead to becoming laws for Pakistan. Sorry, not animal rights laws, dog management control laws. But I also just made animal rights laws. Hopefully, we can do something with both of them. But yeah, so the Supreme Court has recognized us, and I think that's pretty awesome. And
that's amazing.
Thank you. So hopefully we can bring about some laws.
And where are you on this initiative with the Supreme Court? Where are you?
We have just put in an urgent appeal for our hearing to come up. So we're just waiting on that right now. So we have given everything in, like all of
the policy side you have provided. What should the policies be? What should be?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we've done all of that. So this is pretty cool. So the reason I wanted to take you guys through it, because I had to show you guys visuals, right? Even if you guys are into policy making, I don't know about this stuff. So all I can do is share what is my expertise, which is the stories and the experience that we've had. And now I would like you guys to tell me from what I've shown you so far, what you have in mind, what you thought about it, what you're thinking about it, and then I can take it forward.
I mean, anybody who wants to ask a question, please raise your hand through the Zoom app so we can manage it. And if nobody has, I've got quite a few questions. Okay. Solia, please go ahead.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much, Ayesha, for the incredible work that you have been following for a few years. I was really intrigued by what you said about the general attitude towards animals and how people tend to say that it's like a Western issue to care about animals. And I was just wondering, like, from the work that you've done, how do people react to how, for example, Islam emphasizes taking care of animals, right? So like that's the majority religion in this country. And if you see like other Muslim countries like Turkey, there's a lot of respect for animals there, right? So what do you think is going on here? And why isn't there like a cognitive dissonance between that belief system and the actual reality on the ground?
That is a really good question. And honestly, I don't think this is so much religious. It's a cultural issue. So it's more in our culture in Pakistan, we have this hatred towards dogs. Because you're right, there is nothing like this in any of the Muslim countries. It's not about religion over here. This is more about the way we've seen it in culture for some reason, that dogs are bad, animals are dirty, or we've kind of got it stuck in our heads that no, because there's so much bad stuff for humans over here, we have to, not even that people work on that, but because that's happening, you can't bother doing anything for any other species. And if you do anything for any other species, you're looked down upon, or you're seen as privileged, or it's just it's like people are just, and it's not that they are doing anything concrete for humans either, because we don't have that over here. It's like, no, we all just must stay mediocre and everything must remain bad, so we can just keep complaining because no one actually wants to work to bring about a change. So I think the root cause of this cultural attitude is us being lazy. More than anything else, our cultural attitude is one of laziness and being mediocre. And that is one thing that I want to change, because everything that we do over here there's always a shortcut. There's always the jugaad ka kaam. There's nothing fully done in excellence. And when you don't have that attitude of doing something in excellence, like Turkey, for example, they vaccinate and neuter all their dogs are chilling on the road. There's no issue over that, right? Because they went the extra mile for a long-term benefit. Over here, what people want to do is they want to get a quick short-term benefit where it's like, let's just poison the dogs so you can see a line of dead bodies. So you're happy about that, not realizing that in a month's time, there will be probably 20 new dogs in place of those dogs, because dogs, like any species, mate more when they know that their species survival is under threat. This is a scientific fact. And that's why hasn't poisoning or culling or any of these things worked for so many years? And when you ask people in authority that, they don't have an answer. Because it's true, it hasn't worked, because quick fixes and the jugaad ka kaam, it doesn't work. You have to think big vision. You can't be tunnel vision, but we live with blinders here. So I think the root of all of this is a lazy attitude.
Thank you.
I think that's a very good answer, Ayesha. And just building on that, आपसे पहले मैंने एक session किया था child labor पे, and it's amazing how similar child labor and animal rights are. The way we abuse our children, or street children, आपके different लोग जो हैं, तो I mean it's very sad, and it's all nothing to do with the religion either. एक second, please go ahead. जी दानिश आ गए आप? अच्छा मैं एक second आप आ रहे हैं, मैं आता हूँ, मैं call पे हूँ एक second. Yes.
Yeah.
So any other questions?
Just like a question about like our general attitude towards violence in our society. So we have a problem of our attitude towards violence, and what does this actually, our treatment of animals, say about this? And I think I remember you talking about, like, even you mentioned in this like call as well, that like that this is like a gateway, like changing our society's attitude towards animal is a gateway towards many of the societal changes we want to see. So if you could like speak a little bit more about that,
Yeah, I
because
think
that's
that's
really
a great question. And I think that is so important, right? Because again, people don't realize that what we're trying to do, like if you're seeing us on the road, you saw Humar on the road talking to those kids, right? Telling them, do you like Batman or Superman? And if you're a superhero, so superheroes don't hurt anybody, right? So because those kids, first of all, they got hurt. They didn't get yelled at. She spoke to them like you would, because normally with kids on the road, they are just used to getting screamed at or they're used to getting abused. But if you actually talk to a child on the road like a child, just like any child, it doesn't matter where they are from or what it is, you talk to them with respect, you hear them and you let them and you listen to them. And the moment you give them that respect, their attitudes will change. I think a lot of again, I'm going into a more therapeutic realm over here, but a lot of the attitude towards animals, children, and women is because frustrations are not heard and there's no space to listen to people or hear people without constantly fighting with people. So on some level, you have to just sit like donkey owners who abuse their animals. I just want to scream and shout. But I controlled myself and I sat with them instead. And I heard their ghar ki kahanis. And I heard ke kya hua hai. Unko kyun it's not justifying the violence, but I'm giving them that respect to hear them a little bit, to know what they are going through. Essentially, Pakistan suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, and we are just consistently having it because we are always going through something or the other that's traumatic. And in PTSD, on a collective level as well, you need to be heard. The moment you feel heard, you can start healing. So the moment a donkey owner is heard, and they're like, who are these people hearing me? But they feel this respect, that they are respected and they have dignity. They will want to stop hurting their animals. But if you treat people like garbage, okay, or you treat animals like garbage or anyone like garbage, it's only going to create more garbage. But if you can treat people with respect, it's only going to create more respect. So yeah, there's so much violence in our society because I feel like this is the root cause. We don't hear each other. We don't listen. We don't keep space for anyone. And because of that, it's just built and built and built. And there's so many layers. It's so deep now that we don't know where that first thread is to, untie all of this. And it's all like we can't untangle it because it's so much. So all you can do is sit back, and when you meet someone who you're not getting along with or you have completely different views, you just listen to them. And through that listening, respect is formed. And through that, honestly, violence can be reduced a little bit. And I think I'm not giving the typical answer I always give, which is about how domestic violence and rape and so on is connected to animal abuse, because all of these people who rapists, serial killers, school shooters, they all have animal abuse in their childhood. They've all abused animals before escalating to humans. But I'm giving you guys a different answer, which is the answer that it is really important to listen. To listen to people. If we can start doing something as simple as that, you'll watch, people will start paying it forward. And that's how things change, where you give people a space to just be, good or bad. You just give them a space to be, and then you take it from there.
great. Thank you. This is really good. So Salar, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I believe you guys are based in Karachi, but do you ever plan to expand different cities or collaborate with some other animal rescues?
Yeah, we are collaborating with others on different topics, like, if there's an animal abuse case or if there are cases that come in, then we do. But yeah, absolutely. I think because we have this ACF umbrella and because we have our systems in place, we would love to pick up this franchise and make it into a franchise and take it all over Pakistan, because we have a very steady system and I've taken 10 years to build it. And honestly, running an organization like this is an art. It takes a lot, but I think for that we require a lot of funding. We require a lot of paperwork. We require a huge, like not even a huge team, but a very dedicated team. And I think that all of those things are possible. It's the funding that realistically is tough, because just right now managing Karachi's operation, which is like the 6th largest city in the world, and we're sort of doing this single-handedly, it's a lot. So which is why I've created businesses, which again, if you go on our social media, you'll see, where I'm trying to make us a little more self-sustainable, because the bigger vision is to open in, as many cities of Pakistan as we can, because it's so needed everywhere. So that is the plan.
Okay, Ayesha, I think we need to bring it to a close, but I would like to say a few things here. First of all, we will be spending time with you, as I mentioned, to really understand where we can help. And I think what you just showed us, the last slide, I think that we would like to make sure that happens and policy is influenced in the right way. And I think ऊपर से बहुत सारी policies are provincial level पे है, federal level पे नहीं रही है. So this also makes the life much difficult, because you have to do work differently in Punjab, and then. But I think if Sindh can become a role model, then people like जैसे आपकी Asraimi and Lahore se and a lot of other people, they could use that as a precedent. So I think this is at least move in the right direction. And I think this is, I mean, and you're right. I mean, we as a society, is nothing to do with Islam. It has nothing to do with any religious issue. It's just our behaviors that we do, and the way we treat people, and the way we treat our animals. So I really appreciate you taking the time and giving us, because this is really an area we don't really talk about much. I mean, a lot of people are concerned, a lot of pet owners are concerned, but अपने घर में के अंदर तक हैं, बाहर कुत्तों के साथ कुछ हो रहा है उसका फर्क नहीं पड़ता उनको. And you and I have personally have called your service once for a dog that got stuck in my door, in my gate, and you people came, gave him an injection, took him, because he was biting everybody. So I mean, this is amazing what you're doing. So I would, because it was an hour long. I know people will have to move on, but we will be recording this and putting the recording on a website. So if anybody wants to, refer to somebody else, they can listen to the whole thing. And I think I do understand you showing the videos, because without knowing the context and what's going on, it's very difficult to understand, what exactly how
Sorry,
bad.
I do want to ask you, what do you mean the dog was biting everyone?
His head was stuck in between the rails.
So to try to take him out, he was
Yeah, they couldn't
probably
get close to him.
and
Yeah,
that's why he was biting.
yeah. And the poor guy was hurting himself, because
Biting
whenever
people
somebody.
get wrong idea.
नहीं, it was a very unique case. वो metal के doors के सर डाल दिया था बेचारे, he couldn't come out of it. So they did it very, very, very humanly.
Yeah.
As soon as he was a little docile, they just pulled it out and put him in the van. So that's part of life. But you are the only name that came to my mind to call, because that's an amazing tribute to you and your organization. So thank you so much. Waqar, off to you.
Sorry I took up extra time and for the bad.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, thank you.
Thank you
very
everyone.
much, Ayesha. Thank you for giving the really voice to the voiceless, because animals cannot speak for themselves. So somebody has to speak for themselves and really do this job, and making it so
I'm
tangible.
going to stop you there for a second. Animals can speak. We just don't understand their language. I don't like it when people call them voiceless, because they have a voice. But just because we don't understand it doesn't mean they're voiceless. It just means we don't understand their language. It's like, I don't understand Chinese. Doesn't make them voiceless. I just don't understand it. So it's more about listening. You have to listen. So we might not understand it, but that's what listening is. And that's what I was trying to say.
No, this is great. No, thank you. You have a very amazing perspective and framework to put things in. I wish everybody adopts that and has that same positivity. So thank you. Can you just for everybody share where people can find your organization and contribute as well if they want to, your website, if you want to share the.
So our website is acfanimalrescue.org. And our Instagram is ACF Animal Rescue Official. Our Facebook page is ACF Animal Rescue. Our Twitter is ACF Animal Rescue Official. And that's where you can find us. Just type in ACF and we will come up.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ayesha.
Bye-bye.
Amazing. So.